Video. So in today's video I will show you how to show the picker view, iOS picker view, or the Android spinner slash drop down view in React Native. So the drop down view or the picker view or spinner or whatever you call it is not directly available in React Native. So I will show you how you can write native code for it and use it in React Native. Before that, I want to tell you that I am facing some issue on Android. I will tell you what issue that is, but I have written all the code for Android as well. I still can't figure out whether it is an issue of React Native or whether I'm doing some kind of a mistake. But yeah, let's get started. So first you have to create a default React Native project. So I already have a project for it. Next you have to enable the new architecture for it. So you can just go to this link and search for new arc enabled for Android. So to enable it for Android, just search for new arc enabled, go to gradle.properties, make this as true. Once you do this, go for iOS. You can just run this command from your iOS directory, but you might face one of the two issues. First is this. So if you face something like this, then you just have to run this command in the root of your React Native project, and then again you can cd back to iOS and try running this command. If you still face an issue, then it could be related to this. I already have a video on my channel on how to resolve this issue, but you might want to try running this command or have a look at the other answers as well. They might help you. So once you are able to successfully run this command, just run yarn iOS or yarn Android and inside the metro bundler you should see fabric :true, which means the new architecture has been enabled for your React Native project. Next we will go to fabric native components, and as it tells, we have to create this folder, but in the documentation it specifies that create this folder outside the root outside your React Native project, but according to me it is incorrect. Like you should create it inside your React Native project. So I have created a folder like this. You have to create a folder called rt and DropDown. Once you create this folder, just create Android, iOS and JS folder as well, and inside JS you have to create this file rt and dropdown native component.ts. Again, the file naming is very important, so it's better you follow what I have named. Next I have just copy pasted everything from the documentation. Only thing that has been changed, so here you can see, only thing that has been changed is this file name, as well as we want to pass a list of values from React Native side. That's why I'm using a read only array of string, and whenever a file changed, we want to send a callback from native side to React Native side. That's why I'm using this direct event handler, and which will give us the value that has been selected. Next, for Android, go to build.gradle and add this lines, which will help us to use Kotlin. In app build.gradle, add this line, apply plugin Kotlin Android, as well as add this line, Kotlin standard lib. So this will help us to use Kotlin for our project. Next, you have to create this package.json file, so which you can see, like I have again copied it from documentation. Only thing that has been changed is this name, and over here this name. Next, I have created this rt and dropdown pod spec file, and again I have copy pasted this from the documentation as well. Only thing that has been changed is this name. So once you do that, for Android you have to create build.gradle file. So for Android I have created this build.gradle file, and again I have copy pasted everything from documentation. Only thing changed is this apply plugin Kotlin Android, as well as added this Kotlin standard lib, and in namespace you have to change to whatever you have. Next, you have to create this folder structure. So I have created src main java com rt and dropdown, and for now you just have to create this file and just copy paste everything from documentation. And for now, instead of returning this, you just have to return empty list, because you have not generated code gen yet. That's why I just return an empty list for now. Okay, so we have created this, now we have to run the command for code generation. But for code generation we don't have to use double dot, we have to use single dot because our folder is already inside React Native project. So go to app.tsx and just run this command. Once you run this command, you have to do cd dot dot. This will move you outside of your React Native project, and then you have to run a command like this. But there are few changes, so you have to run command like this. So the few changes are, this should be your project name, this should be your project name, this should be your project name, and this should be your folder name. So once you run this, there would be a generated folder inside RTN dropdown which contains CodeGen for iOS. Now for iOS, go to iOS folder, create RTN dropdown.h. Again copy pasted everything from documentation. We just change this file name, and I have added this delegate and data source which are required for the UI PickerView, and this NS array to keep track of what data we are sending from React Native side to the native side. That's why I have defined an array. Next, inside RTN dropdown manager.h, again I have copy pasted this from documentation. Only thing changes this file name, and here we are getting all the values in NS array as well as a callback. So I have defined those two as well over here. Next, I have defined RTN dropdown.mm, and most of it is copied from documentation. So like up to here everything is from documentation. Only thing changes, this file name has been changed accordingly. Okay, this has been changed, this has been changed. Also make sure the extension is .mm and not .m. These are Objective C++ file and not Objective C file. Next, I have defined a UI PickerView, and again this has been copied from documentation. So I have defined a view, I have initialized the PickerView as well, then I have initialized the delegate and data source which we have defined to the PickerView. Then I have added the PickerView to the UI view, and then I have used auto layout constraints for the PickerView to map it to the UI view which we have created. Now this is from documentation, this from documentation, this from documentation. Only thing changes this file name over here, and here we are getting what I have done is that I have created an NS mutable array, then we have looped through that array, then converting it to an NS string, added it to the NS mutable array which we have created, and once we get all the values, just assign to the picker names which we have created originally in the header file. Now we have to override this methods because we have defined the delegate and data source inside of our header file. So here we can just return 1, here we are returning the rows, and here we are returning the count of our picker names. And whenever a user select any item from PickerView, we are sending the data back to our React Native side. So this is the entire code for it, and again this has been copied from documentation. Only thing changes this file name. Okay, so we have done this. Now for Android, so I will just show you the first one, like how it looks for iOS. So this is how it looks for iOS. Okay, so you can see, like whenever I am scrolling, the item is selected, is printed in the Metro bundler. So you can see it again if you want to. Okay, now you can change the height of the view, like I will tell you how to change the height. So before that we will just run this. So first for Android, again you have to run this command. Okay, just run this command in the root of your React Native project, then you have to cd to the main Android folder and run this command. So this will do code generation for your Android folder as well, which can be found inside node modules, RT and dropdown, and over here. Next, okay, so now I want to, okay, first I will show you the code for Android as well. So src, so first you create dropdown.kt, and here you can see like I'm just extending the from linear layout, then assigning the layout params to linear layout, assigning the orientation, and here I'm creating a spinner. So in Android the drop down is, or a picker view is called as a spinner. Yeah, poor naming choice I guess. Then we are adding the view of spinner to linear layout. Then we are configuring the spinner, like I have assigned the spin, we require an array adapter, as well as whenever an item has been selected, we are sending the callback from native side to React Native as well. Now also I have added this flag. This is because if you don't add this flag, like whenever so even if for the first time when your apps come to the screen, like this callback gets fired, but I don't want to fire this callback when the app comes on screen. Like I want to fire only when there has been a change in the item. So to avoid that, I have created this flag and made it as true for the first time, and only once it is true we are sending the data back to React Native side. Next I have created this drop down event. Like this is a mandatory file which you have to create whenever you are sending a callback from native side to React Native side, but make sure this is according to what you have named. So this should be top, followed by the O should be capital, followed by whatever event you have defined in your TypeScript file interface. Next I have created this dropdown manager.kt. Again I have copy pasted this from documentation. So yeah, again we are getting the values, and I'm giving the values over here inside an array list and calling the configure spinner method. Okay, this is over here. Now inside dropdown package, instead of returning empty list, you can just return this. Okay, so now everything is done for Android as well. Now again you have to run this command. So I will go to app.tsx and run this command. Okay, and for iOS you have to run this command as well, otherwise your pod for RT and dropdown won't be created. So better to run this command, otherwise you will face a lot of issues. And then to use it, you can just import it something like this, and you can write like this. Okay, here you can change the height, which I was referring to the iOS video, whatever you want, and whenever something has been changed, we are printing it to the console, but you can use it however you want. And here I am sending the list. Now for Android, I was telling you that I was facing a issue, right? So I will first tell you what the issue is. Like you can see the drop down, but whenever I am selecting a particular item, it does not change. Like I'm not sure why. I will also show you that I have created the same project in native Android as well. So this is a native Android project which I have created, and inside activity main I am just initialized a spinner, and here I am doing the same thing which I have done in React Native's native Android code as well. And if I run this, and this is the emulator, now everything works in native Android. Here you can see at 3, I'm selecting 4, I'm selecting 5, now everything works. But for React Native the same code does not work. I am not sure why, and I don't think I would be asking this question on Stack Overflow as well, because people will start downvoting my question even before reading it. Yeah, like that's how Stack Overflow works for most part. So yeah, if you know why I'm facing this issue, do let me know. Like I will also so the entire source code for this drop down can be found in this link. Like I will add this link in the description as well, like if I remember. But yeah, let me know what I'm doing wrong for Android side. I think I might ask this issue on uh, React Native's GitHub repo as well. So yeah, thank you for watching. Bye.